gas than any other president in US history. So, you know, maybe they don't quite tell the truth. Angela Merkel, our chancellor, as it were, she was also great. She also said great stuff. She said that climate change really kind of challenges us to fundamentally transform our economies, our ways of producing and consuming. Now, obviously, we've just heard that that's, well, I was going to use a rude word, let's say claptrap, hogwash. It's simply not quite true. And so this dynamic, this division between what is said, the kind of nice words that are said at this climate summit, and the actual stuff that's happening politically and economically is so vast that we now have Sabine Minninger to tell us a little bit about what this means in terms of German policy at the level of climate financing, of human rights, of all the good stuff that, of course, the nice new hegemon in Europe, Germany, is really interested in. Sabine, what's going on there?
Thank you, Tatjo. It's not important what the head of states have said, it's important what they have not said. And that was like the most time we spent in analyzing what was not put on the table, you know, in order to get this green washing, or let's say the blue washing, you know, kind in categories. So I queued for 2 hours in the morning to get one badge, to get extra entrance to the room, to smell a little bit of Obama. Yeah. In the same room with Obama. Selfie time. So yeah, and it was, I did this, I'm attending the UN climate negotiations already for 8 years. And I was definitely more impressed by Obama's speech last year in New York at the UN Climate Summit of Ban Ki-moon than this year. Actually, I found it very poor. However, I want to talk a little bit about like German climate politics inside the country, but then get quickly out of it and tell a little bit what is going on at the moment in Bourget there at the COP21 and the behavior of the German government. So it is true that Germany is perceived as a world leader in climate politics, and that the world is looking up to Germany as the leader in the German energy transition. And the people that I'm working with, like partners from the Global South, on the one hand, they are coming to Germany, they are totally impressed about our technical innovations and how we are tackling this energy transition, and then they are completely shocked when they see the massive big coal mines, and like moon, they call it like it's the moon landscapes, and say like, so this is what I have to suffer from. I live in Chad. We have now 50 degrees Celsius in the cities and 56 degrees Celsius in the desert areas, and desertification is going on. And the terrorist groups, Boko Haram, is taking big advantage at the moment of climate change in Chad, and you have seen some news in the last days. And they are basically the farmers who are losing now their land due to land degradation and due to the evaporation of the Lake Chad. They are following now the Boko Haram because they offer them simply money that they follow and that they can feed their families. So, and then coming from Chad or coming from Tanzania, from Kenya, from Ethiopia, Bangladesh, South Pacific countries who are massively suffering from climate change, to Germany and see like this massive coal mining going on. It's very biased in what is actually communicated in the world and how Germany is presenting themselves. So our Chancellor Merkel and her team, which is led by the German Ministry of Environment, put a very high pressure at the moment, and this is like their hardest bargaining chip in the negotiations to get like solid mitigation anchored in the Paris Agreement. That solid, I mean, it's not ambitious, everything is on voluntary basis. The only thing what they want to get done now is to get like some transparency in it and a 5-year cycle, so all 5 years we have to negotiate. I fully agree with this. This is like the minimum requirement what has to be done. And Angela Merkel was also giving then this famous speech when she said like the first one from this G7 group who used the word decarbonization within the century. Yeah? Environmental organizations, again, hurrah, hurrah, clapping in their hands. So what she did not say is that this means also the exit of coal. I mean, what is decarbonization? It's the exit of coal, the exit of fossil fuels. And she did not say that, and it's not because she forgot about it. Believe me, she has a lot of advisors were writing her speech. She did not say it because she did not want to say it. So that was the biggest loss for the kickstart of these negotiations. If the so-called world leader in ambition is not mentioning fossil fuels, why would anyone else do it? And that's also kind of a responsibility of Germany, because Germany has the chance amongst 195 countries to put the bar. No one goes beyond Germany. So Germany puts the bar low, everyone is below it. If they put it higher, then at least there is space to rise ambition. And also it gives Germany a certain space for the negotiations. If they offer a lot, they can ask for much more back. And that is not happening at the moment. So while they are like very blind and ignorant looking on this one thing, they want to get ambition, and while China and India not following, you know, and then they try then to convince the least developed countries to follow their good example. And 2 days ago, here there is a 1.5 degrees Celsius limitation. It's great to say that already in the first week of the negotiations, not 5 years ago. So within this week, they said the first time, maybe we should commit to the 1.5 degrees Celsius to limit global warming until the end of the century. And also Angela Merkel said, we want to reduce it below 2 degrees or maybe 1.5 because some island states will disappear, but never mind. Continuing. However, the German pavilion is very representative. It's you get like drinks and food for free, and 2-meter high letters of saying 2 degrees. We thought already if we should go there tonight and pay 1.5 over it, but we were kicked out definitely. So, however, so that was already the wrong signal that she put at the first date. That was definitely wrong. And how much time do I have left? Because I want to talk definitely about loss and damage. Oh no, then I leave. Okay, then say very quickly. So exit out of coal. This is like imperative because we are not able to keep our own climate targets, the nationally set climate targets. How will we tell China and India that we are role model if we are not able to do the energy transition by ourselves? They're watching us, you know, very, very considered and very carefully how we manage it. And if it turns out that this is a lie, none of these countries would ever touch this. Then the second thing what I would quickly mention before I go back to the negotiations is that Germany is still financing coal export credits. And that is also completely biased because we want to encourage now developing countries to shift from coal to renewables, and the German government is still financing coal in developing countries, for example in South Africa. This is a discussion for itself because I hear many times from people, but this is eradicating poverty, and if you close down the coal mines, you will lose jobs. No, this is not a coal mine that we have in Germany, it's in South Africa. This is slavery, and visit once these working places. It has nothing to do with the valuable working place that is needed to be prevented. Instead, the renewable energies have definitely the outreach to go in the rural areas and reach the villages and electrify them, while coal is very limited because you need the grid. You need grids for this, and that is not needed with renewable because they are decentralized. For example, I visited one project of us in India. We have electrified there 20,000 households just with very small biogas, which is electrifying just one family. And that is much more efficient and green at the same time. So coal exports should be out of the portfolio of the German government, for sure. Now going back to the negotiations, and that's actually my main topic there, and it's a topic also of my heart. We are fighting very hard that the poorest and the most vulnerable countries will get international support in dealing with climate-induced loss and damages. That means if South Pacific islands are drowning in a Pacific Ocean, who will help the people? No? We have now one example of a village in Fiji Islands, that was now successfully resettled, and it only 80 households. It costed $2 million US. That's something what the poorest countries cannot afford. And these are small island states, so where you see the borders are very clear. You know, it's like it will not be this massive. It will not cause, let's say, civil wars like in Africa. If the nomads are losing their land and it's lost, they cannot go back home, and they are then walking around. Maybe cross-border displacement will happen, and that will even cause bigger problems. And so these countries, that's the group of the 48 least developed countries of the small island states in the African group, are for 5 years fighting to get international support. They also asked for compensation for the loss and damages that they are facing. Okay, I have to finish, so good. However, I think we are very close to get something now in this agreement, and because the whole group of developing countries is urging so badly, and also the developing countries let go of their request for financial compensation for the loss of an island. So how much would it be to compensate Kiribati, where all industrialized countries said, no way, we will never ever give you money for the damage that we have caused the past 200 years. So instead, they dropped this request, but asked very constructive, what everyone understands, for future cooperation and support. And that means help us with resettlement. We need a facility for migration and displacement. And looking at our refugee crisis going on now in Europe, I think it is very clear that we will have big amounts of people running away from the climate. In Bangladesh at the moment are 30 million people threatened by the climate. So we need to get this organized now to prevent future humanitarian disasters. And instead, the United States, together with all industrialized countries, said no, never ever, never ever. We will not take care of this at all. European Union, Germany in the forefront, shut it up for the whole year. They were not outspoken until now, not outspoken at all. And now the US came up with a clause. They said, okay, maybe we talk about any kind of cooperation and information exchange, but that's it. But then all in developing countries have to sign a clause that they have to sign now a clause that also in future they will never ask for compensation, even though we're heading to a 3 degrees warmer world. And Germany and the European Union are backing now the United States, and they're hiding behind them, covered it. They say, well, we better have the US on board, while the small island states say, no, then we are better not signing this. And the Peace Nobel Prize winner Obama can go out here and say that he left the poorest countries behind, and also the German government, who's like the strongest allies in this. Okay, I leave it like this and forget a heart attack. We are doing hard lobby work to get this now in, and I hope that also we get strong support from the civil societies. The problem is that it's kind of a technical issue, and that most of the civil societies are not taking care of just a few aid agencies, and I feel that we need more support on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sabine. Thanks really for these really interesting presentations, and as somebody who in my spare time, when I'm not working for the foundation, is an anti-coal activist in Germany, I would just like to add one little fact to this that really struck me. You know, lignite, brown coal, a soft brown coal, which is the dirtiest of all the fossil fuels. Germany produces most lignite of any country in the world, not in percentage terms, not compared to the size of the economy compared to India or China, but in absolute terms. Germany digs up more of this dirty crap than any other country in the world, more than China, more than India, more than anywhere else. And that in itself, aside from all the other really important things that have been said, for me would show when the German media tell this story, that Germany is a climate leader, they're simply falling for the cheap lies of a government that has very little to do with climate protection and is all about maximizing profits through an export model and through dirty industries. With that,